If you're still creating invoices manually, let me show you a workflow I created that'll save you hours a week. Instead of creating your invoices one by one, here's how you can batch create them using just Google Sheets, a template, and Relevance AI. First, you're going to want to start with a list of clients, including all the information you want to include in the invoice. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to use Google Sheets, but anything similar will work fine too. We're just going to export all the data as a CSV file. Next, we're going to need a template to base our invoices off of. It doesn't matter what you use for this too. I just found a free template off the internet. In this template, we're going to need to add in some placeholders. These placeholders so that we can later swap them out for actual data from our Google Sheets. We're going to have things like the date, the customer name, the customer's address, and so on. For each of these placeholders, I suggest using the exact same name as each of the column headers in the Google Sheet. All placeholders must be wrapped in double curly braces. Next, log into relevanceai.com. If you don't already have an account, you can just create one. Once we're in, we want to create a new tool. Go to the Tools tab and click on the default option for creating a new tool. Alright, now click on Add Step. Type in Google Docs in the search bar and select the option that says Create New Document from Template. Once we have our tool, it's time to set up our inputs. Near the top of the screen, you'll be able to choose from a variety of input types. Just be careful about whether you are selecting the correct input type. You'll want to create one for each of the placeholders in your template and your Google Sheet. For the sake of simplicity, I would recommend using the same name as your Google Sheets column header. If you want to skip all this, I'll also include all the relevant templates and links in the description. Once that's done, we want to configure our tool. Select your Google account, the template, the folder to save the invoices to, and a name for each invoice. We're just going to use the invoice number as the name since it'd be easier to keep track of later on. Select whether you want the invoices to be on a doc or a PDF format. Now this next part will be the hardest part of the process, but we made it a little bit easier because we used the same name for all of our inputs, column headers, and placeholders. So all we're going to do is a bit of formatting. Now we just need to format each input so the system can understand it. First, we need to pick a column header. Write it twice and put them both inside quotation marks. Put a colon in the middle to separate the two. Next, all we need to do is add some curly braces to the right side. Do this for all of your placeholders, but remember to add a comma at the end of each line to separate each row. Basically, on the left side, we're just selecting the placeholder we want to use. On the right side, we're just telling it what should go in the placeholder. Alright, this is what it looks like when it's finished. Let's test that it actually works first. Select a name for your tool and hit save. Then, we're just going to run the tool with some dummy data. Now that run's over, click on the status tab. If there's a 200 status, it means it's successful. Let's go to Google Drive to take a look. Nice, we can see that our invoice has been created. Now for the final step. Go back on Relevance and return to the home page. From there, click on Knowledge in the left sidebar. Now we want to upload our CSV we downloaded at the start. Now that our data has been uploaded, click on the Enrich button on the top left. Select the tool that we just created, and for each of these options, just select the matching field. All we're doing right now is mapping the input fields of the tool to the column headers of the client list. Just click Save and don't run. Next, scroll all the way to the right and you'll notice some extra columns that we just created. We can test it out on a single row first. Alright, now that it's finished running, we can see that there is a 200 status in the status column. This means that the run was successful. Let's go back to Google Drive to take a look. Nice, we can see that everything works properly. Let's go back on Relevance and run for the rest of our clients. We can now see a 200 status for all the rows. Let's go back to Google Drive to take a look. As you can see, for each invoice, we have all the invoice numbers, customer names, and service prices. I'll include all the relevant templates and links in the description so you can try this out yourself.